Hey, how's it going, guys? It's me, Jesse, second year medical student. Just want to let you guys know that today is kind of it's going to be a pretty cool day. The only thing I have to do today, besides study, is to go see an actual real patient. Most medical schools, they'll have these classes the first 2 years where it's sort of called either Intro to Clinical Medicine or something that sounds similar to that. And essentially you practice being a doctor. So you learn the exams, you learn sort of, it's almost like a script actually. It's almost like you're going to a play and you have to remember all the words and you have to remember all the maneuvers and everything. So it is a little, if you have some stage fright, it could be a little frightening. But as long as you're prepared, you're fine. So essentially the first 2 years, you have these ICM classes. End of the first year, at the end of a semester, you have something that's called the OSCEs. You go in by yourself into a room and there's a patient. Now the patient is typically an actor, an actress, and then you have a proctor, someone that's grading you. So they literally start grading you from the moment you walk into the room. I had my OSCE and essentially I walked into the room and I introduced myself and we had 12 minutes to do a patient's history. And then we had 6 minutes to do an exam and then another 6 minutes to do another exam. So it's close to half an hour. You're just talking, and you have to make sure you hit every single point. So it can be a little nerve-wracking if you're not prepared. All right, so you have ICM, then you have OSCEs. In your second year, depending on which medical school you go to, maybe even the first year, you get to actually go see real patients. So you may go on a trip to the hospital or to one of the clinics. So for instance, at my medical school, I actually went and visited one of the local clinics on the island, which was amazing. It was so much fun. We got to meet some incredible people, great nurses. The doctor was great people. They're super nice. And I remember when we pulled up, there was such a long line of people and I was just like, oh my God, we have to see all these people. We only have a couple hours. This is gonna be interesting. Like this is gonna be, it was almost like exciting, but at the same time, do I know my stuff? Do I know enough? But it was a lot of fun. We actually got to sit down and actually got to see patients. We got to call them and do history, check their vital. It's that type of stuff that actually gets me excited. You know, after many weeks, months of just constant studying, reading from the books, it's so nice to actually see real patients, and it reminds you why you want to do this, and it is really interesting. So we were told just to bring our general stuff. So I got my pen lights. So of course you have the little hammer. So we're gonna check for reflexes. So many different areas where you can tap on it. It's just crazy. And then we have these 2 tuning forks right here. One is for sort of to check cranial nerves, and then the other one is to check sort of the vibration sensation in the upper and lower limb. But I have this little couple little things here. I have Q-tips in here. I have the little cards, and then I have, and then I don't know if you can see it, but I fell. And I also have a paper clip in there to check for 2-point discrimination. A few other little things. Blood pressure cuff, which is so little. I didn't know it was gonna be that little, so I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't have to do blood pressure. But anyways, so that's my stuff. I'm gonna go see a patient, then I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna give you guys some more information. I'm not gonna I can't obviously talk about why the patient was there, but I am gonna tell you guys about a patient that I saw when I used to work in the emergency room as a physician scribe, which was, there's so many videos I can make about that. We'll get into that in another video, but instead of talking about the patient today, I'm going to talk about a patient that I saw a few years ago and how interesting that case was, and just kind of limit it to a few things. Alright guys, so I will see you guys in a little bit when I come back from seeing this patient, and that's basically it. I don't have any lectures or group or anything like that I have to go to today. It's basically just go see the patient, and then I have to study all day because I have a test coming up. Just finished seeing a extremely interesting patient, and I wish I could share the information. I wish I can talk about all the different things and connect the dots for the specific patient, but of course I can't because of HIPAA. But what I can say is sometimes you'll have a patient that comes in and has so many different things going on. They have like a scatter type of presentation where this over here is messed up and this, they'll feel good here, and this it may be an issue, and this over here may be an issue. And a lot of times all those different things are, even though they seem completely different and different systems and everything, a lot of times what's really cool is that there is a underlying issue, just one underlying issue that connects everything together. So part of being a medical student, part of being a doctor, I think, is partly being a detective, where you get all this information and you have to decide, okay, this is going on, I'm gonna do these labs, I'm gonna get this x-ray, I'm gonna get this MRI, blah, 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 and I'm gonna put it all together and come to my final diagnosis, conclusion, or whatever. Super interesting, super exciting. But I will say that prior to coming to medical school, I had the great opportunity of working as a physician scribe. So I was working side by side with all different types of doctors, ER doctors, plastic surgeons, ENT, family medicines, different specialties, ER, internal medicine, everything you can imagine, right? Super, super lucky, learned so much. And some of these patients come in and you immediately see something and you're like, oh my God, that is extremely rare. I remember seeing a patient who came in for something completely benign, but she had blue eyes, and I'm not talking about the iris, I'm talking about the sclera, I'm talking about the whites of the eyes. They were blue, and I immediately was like, oh my God, does this patient have osteogenesis imperfecta? And that literally was my first question to the doctor right after leaving the room. I was like, hey, does this patient have osteogenesis imperfecta? It's extremely rare, I learned about it in college. Does this patient have this? And yes, the patient did have it. Super rare, super interesting. But like I said, today I can't really give you too much information. But it was nice because it was relevant to so many things we've been doing since day one of being here in medical school. And that's what I find super interesting at the point where I'm at right now is, I'm only in my second year and I'm seeing patients where a lot of the information that we're seeing in the first year, in the beginning of this second year, all coming together very, very nicely. Obviously I have a ton more studying to do, I have so much more to learn, but it is nice at this point where you are starting to put things together, and so far I enjoy it. Thank you guys for watching. More videos are coming. I have to study like crazy for the next 2.5 weeks. I have this big test coming up. I feel pretty good, but I'll probably do my typical 15-hour study days until the test. I have been studying like crazy already for the last week and a half, so it's just stay steady. All right, guys, thank you. Please subscribe, and if you have any questions or any comments, just leave them below, and either myself or my wife Sarah will get to them as quickly as possible. Have a bueno day, and have a bueno life.